Hey, Chad. Oh,
Cheers,
no.
Chad. Oh no.
We can't hear you.
It says you're muted. Oh,
No.
there.
Oh,
No, still nothing.
no.
Jesus.
I guess I'm
There you
There you
go.
go.
on the built-in mic for this one.
Yeah. Andy is too. So, all right.
So yeah, car week.
All right. Together again. Hey, boys.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's good to see you, Chad.
see you guys.
Yeah. Oh, man. Today
Oh,
is.
Hey, what's a better white balance, my forehead or this white cup?
I like the forehead.
Yeah, we'll pull off of that.
It's got more of a slope. More of a slope to it. I can say that about Chaille's head.
Yeah. So we're obviously Chad's back home because he's got his regular background. Brett is at home because he's got his regular background. And Andy and I are both in Austin in other rooms at the Bretchel's household.
And it works out on my screen as Brett's below. You're up above him. Are you above him in the room? I mean, is
Not
it
the same on
okay.
each screen, Andy.
Hey, let me ask you, do you get haircuts?
Oh, my God. Yesterday, Chad.
Yeah, you got to tell the story.
So before the show yesterday, it's a noon show. So we.
Doug Stanhope's day drinking shows in Austin 2 days in a row, and this was the second day.
Second day, everyone really hungover. Andy and I get down there with Carrie Mitchell and Tracy, and they're going to work. They don't need us around being in the way. So we're like, let's go find some breakfast somewhere. So we walk down the street, we find this breakfast cafe, and it's one of those where you don't sit down and have a waitress take your order. You got to order up at the counter, stand in line. We're standing in line for like 15 minutes to get up there, and we're finally and they also don't have a menu. You got to scan a QR code and look at it on your phone. So, Andy's like, I just want a breakfast sandwich. And I'm like, what are you going to get? And he's like, oh, just get a breakfast sandwich. And I'm like looking at him, and he's like,
moon over my hammy or whatever you call it here.
like, have you looked at the menu? He's like, well, I'm like, you have to scan it on your phone. He's like, oh, okay. He starts to walk. I go, dude, I got it on mine here. Look.
So he was giving up?
He was going to go back to where the QR code
thing. So he's going to start over in the 10-minute line.
But I don't know
those places anyway. Because what if you put your goddamn reading glasses?
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, I now just can't order shit.
They did that at the well, I won't say where because it's a crime technically, but I went to an event at a new stadium, a new Olympic-sized stadium they built around me. And you couldn't get, they had their things and they had them bagged. They were like, they had orders ready to go because they were like fucking ahead of the curve, but you had to
go, like and
they weren't taking cash.
Yeah.
So you had to do that, and you had to download the app and then all that shit. And I just walked over and swiped one when they were distracted. I don't know how to do this, but I do.
But I am hungry.
You play to your strength.
Yeah.
So I let him look at my phone. I'm like, here, pick something off here. And he's looking at it, and he's confused because there's no breakfast sandwiches on there. But I point out that an Eggs Benedict is on an English muffin, so that's kind of sandwich-like. We're having this whole discussion. Now I'm finally up to the front. The girl behind the counter is literally about to turn to take my order. We're standing there, the counter, and then behind the counter is this large mirror. And as we get up to, we get right up to where we order, she's about to turn around, and Andy looks at me and he goes, "Hey, do you get haircuts?" And I was like, no. I've got to do no. I mean, what? Like on what level? Where? And then I realized it's because he was looking in the mirror, and all of a sudden he just bounced to a fucking weird,
like a parakeet. You put a parakeet, you put a little mirror there, and they keep looking around and kissing the mirror.
But I mean, clearly you get haircuts.
What I thought
Well,
Because
there was too much to unpack in that question for me to even start
should I
unpacking.
said, do you receive haircuts?
or where do you get a good hair?
That was what would have been a follow-up question.
Maybe you just like a package deal. Do you buy them all at once? Or do you
Right.
just pay
Oh
for
my
them one at a
God.
time?
Are these coupon haircuts a good deal?
Then the next thing so we ordered our food and we go sit down and they bring us, they come
Well,
out.
she hit us with that. Do you want eggs Benedict Paris Texas style? And I thought of that movie Cars That Eat People, and it was in Paris, Texas. So I go, sure. And then Brett goes, you even know what that is? And I didn't want to get into it.
I know what the movie is.
Yeah, it starts off in Paris, not Paris, France, Paris, Texas.
That's on that's the line on the movie poster.
Yeah, so that's why I ordered that, and then Brett, it's like, okay, what is that? And it was a croissant, and I said, yeah, but I was like, oh man.
So he wants the regular one. So they bring us our food, and they bring Andy this gorgeous plate, 2 English muffins with 2 beautiful sunny side up eggs on top, lightly poached or whatever.
They're poached, and there's usually a slice of ham there.
That's was a problem.
Andy, because Andy wanted a breakfast sandwich, he fucking grabs a hold of this thing, punctures the egg with his finger as he's grabbing it, tries to pick it up and eat it. He's immediately got egg yolk running all down his hand, on his elbow. And I'm like, put that fucking thing down. You've got a fork right there. What is wrong with you? His fucking arm, it looked like that poster of Pete Townsend from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where it's like all blood running down through his fingers.
And that drew the attention of a weird foodie who come over and wanted to photograph my breakfast. And some of it's leaking down my arm, and she comes over to photograph my eggs.
It's just like, I mean, Andy, I love you, and I love being with you because it's an adventure and it's always fun, but it's also like exhausting sometimes. Like, we just wanted to sit down for an hour out of the way of the comedy club staff, get some food and relax. And there's egg mess happening. I'm getting weird haircut questions. I don't understand.
I still am not 100% sure if you do receive haircuts.
I felt like I answered that question.
What's that?
Can you explain that question?
I was I haven't had a haircut since the place closed up in the COVID, and then I was like, I don't even want to go. It's like it takes a while to find somebody who can make it look all right or whatever. And she left, and so it's like, it's like the fucking breakfast sandwich. When we were looking for a place, didn't you read a Yelp review and it or something that said breakfast sandwich is a great breakfast sandwich? You
told me it was best breakfast sandwich in Austin or something.
Yeah, and then
it did say something like that.
Right. So then it's like how it's still got to work. And and I was thinking of, if they were a little flatter, I might have put stacked them. But the fucking ham, I didn't know about the ham being there. And so when I bit into it, I had the egg leaking down and all that. I was willing to just kind of let that go. But when I bit into it, then the fucking ham betrayed the sandwich, dropped and everything fell. And that's
not only did he get egg all in his hand and his fingers and on his forearm, then he takes his napkin and wipes it all up with his big
wipes or smears?
Smears it all off of him onto this big cloth napkin that they gave him. And then he puts the napkin in his lap. And I'm like, get that fucking, you're going to get this all over your pants now.
Like a gentleman.
Hey man, the yolk's on me. It's fine. Relax, have your breakfast. The yolk is on me. But what was it? She wasn't a homeless lady. She's just very curious about what other people eat to be intrusive enough to get.
This lady came up to she was super impressed with the eggs Benedict and had somehow ignored Andy's attack of it.
Yeah,
she wanted to talk about it, and then she was like, "I want to come back later, and I'm going to get that." She goes, "Do you mind if I take a picture of that?" And we're like,
"I go right here. Here's some."
And then she takes her phone and she goes to take a picture and she keeps getting closer and closer and closer. She eventually had her phone within an inch of Andy's food. And I was just like, this is fucking weird. And she took a picture. She just wandered off.
Yeah, like was it last week we were talking about the Truman Show? That was a very Truman Show. Like, okay, now leak the egg down that poor guy's arm.
The microphone is showing in the Eggs Benedict. I need you in there quickly.
How do I make this not fucking obvious?
Yeah, Brett's starting.
Time.
Brett's starting to get it.
He picked up the one without the microphone. We got lucky. Now get in there. I'm used to Andy's some of his eating habits because I know he usually eats like a burger. Sometimes he'll take the bun off because he does one half of the bread, which I've adopted that. But like him eating the Eggs Benedict like a Pop-Tart sounded normal, but to grab it and to puncture and to have everything leak, I was
a little thumb heavy.
You have to attack it differently.
It was. I mean, it was probably a perfectly prepared egg, and I just, my thumb went right. I didn't want that to happen.
Bullseye. I said.
I got it, but I think. There was no way to win on that sandwich.
Well,
they gave you a fork
But I wonder how the croissant would have played out in that situation afterwards. I could have soaked up some of the egg off my arm with the croissant, and that would have.
Could have used the croissant as a napkin. True.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of times
you would never have been able to like surfboard that up to your mouth because the croissant is not as stable
too
as
flimsy.
English muffin. And the problem is the English muffin, because they never toast them enough for Eggs Benedict. Even an untoasted English muffin is way more firm than the croissant of any kind, Paris, Texas, or not.
I think I just wanted something else. I mean, when we walked in there, the guy had all those different plates up there, and there's like so many good fucking things. It's like, oh man, that looks good. The big they had like a big thick French toast, whatever. But it's like, God damn it, man, where's your egg sandwiches? That's bait and switch. Have somebody Yelp review your current sandwiches or lack thereof. But I mean, it was
now. Isn't that your job, Andy?
Yeah, I should bring my own.
You should Yelp review that. It's
I had a very uncomfortable experience eating your Eggs Benedict.
And the only reason you ordered an Eggs Benedict was because the offering of the best breakfast sandwich in Austin was nowhere.
You know what? If you're an Austin restaurateur and you have a breakfast sandwich, it's open. It's like the state trophy for sandwiches is open. They're not competing over there no more.
Yeah. It's time to crown a new king.
It's been a fun episode so far, you guys.
This is like when we should ask for hey man, if you can help support our podcast, get on the Patreon. Because we do it at the end, and then it's like sometimes people go in and eat a bunch of buffet, and then they'll take off before the bill drops. I think that's what happens. We go at the end of our episode. People are like, "Oh, I'm full," and it's like when the collection plate comes out at church or whatever. It's like some people got to go to the bathroom right before it comes around.
You don't want to get in the parking lot when everybody's leaving, man.
You got to get out of there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, there you go. That's it. Andy got here on Monday night, Chad, and he's like, I get in at 8:30. I'm like, all right, I'll scoop you at the airport. No problem. Just,
because we had plans Monday night.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Doug was doing Kill Tony that night at the club. So we were going to all go down there and, watch the show and hang out. So Andy's going to get in at 8:30. I'm like, just, let me know when you land. I live real close. So about 8:30 comes, nothing. 9 o'clock, nothing. 9:30, nothing. 10 o'clock, he texts me, more, I'm about to land. And I'm like,
And it was
okay.
not. I was quite a ways out too. I was like, still quite. Anyway.
Okay, you
I
didn't
get on.
call. You texted.
I get on the phone before we land. I know that's a federal. They ask you not to, but when I get service, I get service.
So
They don't ask you not to
Andy
make a
knows.
call, like don't spit on the floor.
Wouldn't do that on a plane.
So at the Austin airport, when I pick people up, I always say, go out. When you go outside past bag check and you're outside, just turn right and go all the way down as far as you can go. And there's each little area's got a letter. So it goes A through M. So just go all the way down to M. I'll drive past everybody and scoop you at the last second. It works.
It's in the shade. It's the
It's in the
smoking
shade,
area.
you're
There's
away
a place to set your baggage.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
And
you
it
don't
works
have to
great,
fight
by
with
the way,
everybody.
Erickson. I love
You
that.
You don't have to fight with everybody when you're picking them up,
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's like, all right, yeah. And I said, so just, I'm so close, like it works out perfectly. Text me when you're at the terminal, because I can leave my house when you're at the terminal and I can be pulling up when you walk out.
Like 7 minutes. Max.
It's right there.
Yeah.
So I take off. He texts me then again later and he says, well, still taxiing. And I said, okay, I'm actually going to head out because it's pouring down rain and I get a little jump on this, but text me when you're at the terminal. And so I drive out there and I haven't got the terminal text yet. So I pull into the phone lot, which is just right there too. And I park and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at YouTube videos. Another 10 minutes goes by, 15. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So finally I text him. I'm like, hey man, I'm in the phone lot. And Andy's like, oh yeah, I'm outside at M waiting for you. I'm like, text me when you get to the
terminal.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Terminal's the airport.
So the terminal's the airport. So I go get him. I scoop him. He jumps in the car. I'm like, it's almost 10:30. It's 2 hours late. And I'm like, wow, that must have been a hell of a flight, huh? And he goes, oh yeah, it's been bad all day. I mean, we were over an hour delayed before we even left.
But yeah, I haven't traveled in a while. But I sometimes
and I just looked at him. I didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, well, that shit happens.
Yeah.
I still don't think he understands what the point of this part.
I know half of it I get. I think I
Imagine
get to the terminal, call you when I get to the terminal. But I called
that
you.
Part, yes, that
part was mostly
what I'm saying is when you found out at the Salt Lake City airport or Vegas airport, wherever you were, and your flight was delayed by an hour.
Well, they didn't say that though.
You're doing it now, Andy. You're not listening to the end.
Right.
See, if you would have texted me that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
Going to be an hour late. I would have been sitting by my phone at 8:30 in my going out clothes.
You know what the Southwest, and bless their hearts, they're trying, but they don't say that we're late or anything. I just had to figure it out on my own, But it's like they're not. If they would have told me, "Hey, we're a little delayed, but we'll get you out of here," and all that, I would have thought, "Oh, I should let people know." But they didn't tell us that we were late. We just were. So,
but you're aware of how time works. And
I was thinking that, like, well, we're kind of late, but I was like, I didn't ask anyone, and
it usually says it on the board.
But I know, but if they don't,
departure,
it did not. It didn't say delayed or nothing. But we just, I think they're short of crew, so they don't really say anything. And then people, anyway, Southwest fucking corporates. And I didn't pre-board like I just felt like I don't need to tell them I have cancer. I was in an A group.
Well, they didn't tell you they were delayed, so why should you?
Right. They didn't know, no mention of it, but a lot of times they just make up time in error.
An hour?
Well, that's the thing. If they would have said they were an hour late, I just like I should have said something. Asked,
Are you sure you just didn't have the time wrong? Because
well, that's
if they
another
delay
thing.
by an hour,
That's another thing. I'm in between times. I'm over there and then I'm over here. But while I was up there, I was in between time. Neither worked. The only time it mattered or worked again is when I was in Texas and I, turned my phone on and then I was back on in time. The rest of it.
That doesn't make sense.
Well,
I'm reading the Stephen
got
Hawking
it
book.
when I assumed he was talking about time zones.
I may have been an hour late or 2 hours late or maybe a couple of years late or something, but it was Vegas is West Coast, so so I knew we were late there, but then I was like, maybe we're late here by the time we get to Texas, and that hour adjustment or a couple hours.
Oh, it won't work out.
You're gonna make up for an hour delay by taking advantage of the time zone switch.
Something like that.
That only would work if they didn't factor in the time
maybe
zone.
if I
schedule.
If I was just going West Coast, I think I would have been more aware I was late. But because I jumped time zones, it fucked it up. I don't wear a watch.
Everyone has a watch on them at all times, Andy. It's on your phone.
I know that, yeah, but then I got it, I got that new app and shit. I don't know.
What's the new app, Andy? I want to know.
I downloaded Cameo because I'd like to get into.
Cameo.
I'd like to
that
get into.
Obliterates time.
Yeah, I would like to. Cameo obliterates time. Yeah, it does. I'm gonna grab a Gatorade real quick.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a run.
Yeah. Chad, it was fucking pouring buckets on Monday night. It's crazy.
What month is this?
It
yeah.
It lasts a couple days yesterday.
This is it's May. This is my no Dr. Pepper for that's on never mind. It's already had some, but I'm like, I met Erickson's and they got rid of all Dr. Pepper related products because they knew I struggle with addiction. So I'm kind of shaky right now, doing a podcast without a refreshing.
But Andy, you're doing no Dr. Pepper for what, 30 days or something? Starting.
Well, I can't get my hands on one where I'm like, this is like Doug after a show wanted to grab a cigarette. I needed a Dr. Pepper, or if I was Rudy Giuliani, I would need my assistant to suck my dick, so I can feel like Bill Clinton. I'm really getting into the House of Cards and the characters and stuff. It's like the writer. I know there's a writer's strike, but they fucking wrote a great season of weirdo reality shit. That's it's gonna be fun. It's I guess the race war Charlie Manson always wanted is gonna happen.
What are you talking about?
He's talking about Rudolph Giuliani, and he's talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene is complaining that if she's afraid of a black man.
She stood toe to toe with a black congressman that she's he just makes me afraid and all that. She said it's like and then every time they call us white supremacists, that's like calling using the N-word for a minority. She's like white supremacist is a racial slur now.
It's equally as
yeah.
But it just seems like it's just this summer it's going to be explosive. Like if you were making the trailer for this summer, it's like fucking old man that shits his pants coming unglued. I haven't even seen his yappy cokehead kid for a while. But it's just I've been following the drama on this, and it sucks. You don't know which channel or fucking it's just stupid and for a long stretch, boring and stupid. And I was like, I'm not, but then they announced this is probably going to be the last season of everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, I'll watch some more. But why
House of Cards? How did that come up?
Well, it's just all this fucking shit with the fucking orange guy and this bullshit. It's just like, it's just, like it's high treason and shit. And it's,
Wait, has House of Cards been in production?
No.
He's using the term as an actual euphemism.
Oh,
I don't know which one is I don't know which is reality anymore.
Yeah, neither do I.
But it's
you've transcended time, so there's no point in. Might as well.
Are you telling us what's happening in a year? Is that
I didn't transcend time. I was in between time, but I used to live in Tangent. I didn't live there long or at all, but I would drive through there, and there was there's a town in Oregon called Tangent. So I go through there, and nobody would, fucking community college asshole. So if anyone was riding with me, I'd say, "Hey man, can I go on a tangent or whatever?" Anyway, I don't even remember. I did a lot of drugs back then.
Wait, so you wanted to retell your go off on a tangent joke?
Yeah, I did.
Good for you.
I've been going over some old thoughts, trying to condense them all down to one little spot, and I can flush out some ideas with Alzheimer's. Bam! That's like the intangent one. Sorry, Chad. I'm out in the comedy mecca of the world, so I'm fucking stupid again.
Oh man.
God, this is my second visit to the mothership. It's fucking, you got to come out and check it out, Chad. It's the most beautiful comedy club that I've seen. But I've been to Colorado Springs had the best condo. Now, did you ever see that condo, Chaille? Didn't we talk about that, Brett? That condo, and you had to fucking run.
No, we stayed in a hotel.
Yeah, that was the fucking.
Really, isn't that whenever me and you and Stanhope went?
At one time, yeah. Yeah. On our way to Utah.
Yes.
Yeah, Colorado Springs. Yeah. We stayed in a hotel. We didn't stay in a condo.
You guys showed it to me though.
Oh
yeah. I think it was Looney.
I remember Stanhope showing it to me.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of history with Looney Bins or something.
Yeah, Looney Bins. Yeah. A lot of history.
With Erickson, that was when Roseanne joined us.
Yeah.
Christine Levine, Erickson, and then Roseanne went out and did fucking a few minutes.
Yeah. I don't think if hiring somebody back is any sign, I don't think they like me too much out there. I mean, I don't know, but I fucked how would I get that? I had a doll. I did a character. I was like Larry the Cable Guy, but I sodomized or fake. I didn't actually fuck it, but I had a doll, and I think I was a carny. It's like I was doing a lot of experimentative comedy back then,
and using props, huh?
But that's where that's that place where I sat in this place, breakfast place, and then the carnies filled the place. It's like, oh man, I knew because we had to clean out our lockers when the circus came to town, and I knew carny folks were no better. But so like it's like you just feel when there's all of one weird fucking thing that shows up. Like I was in Vegas, and a lot of pimps and players filled the bar, and it was like, wow, this okay. What's this all about? And it was Prince. But this restaurant, it was not Prince. It was what the fuck is there, a Raider Roadshow, or what the fuck is going on here? And then through eavesdropping on conversation with a couple of gentlemen that were sitting nearby, I was like, these are the carnies, and they were fucking high as shit. Some of them. That's it. So,
I mean, what restaurant were you in that all the carnies went to?
Well, probably Denny's.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had to be something. Like
it was but
nothing more. There had to be a dollar item on the menu.
If you
somewhere with an egg sandwich.
Yeah,
but I had a fucking egg sandwich that didn't leak. It's just like it's like cool when I mean, you wouldn't want to hang out with carnies, but it was like, like watching a fucking live it's like that would be a good show too. Have they, carny folk.
Can you qualify that? Why would it be a good show? I mean, first,
I think America,
the silverware in your wallet.
I don't think big circus wants people to, or big, I don't think big carnival, they control the media, but they don't want you to know what goes on behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, they lose staff. A lot of them would go to, they'd lose, not only do they lose staff, they'd lose them for 5 or 7 years at a time. Because some of that shit, there's pedophiles under a pizza parlor. No, they're at the carnival.
Yeah. They're not under the pizza place. They're behind the tilt-a-whirl.
If you think about it, it's the perfect scam. You're only in that town once a year.
Yeah.
Boom. What happened in the scrambler basket? Can you describe him?
Yeah, you spin them around a bunch of times so that they get all
totally
confused.
disoriented.
I guarantee you, if you get finger blasted by a carny, and they line up 7 of them for your kid to identify them, they're not going to, they might get it right, but it's like winning the lottery. It's like that one. Well, no, it was actually that one. That's his twin brother, Dale.
They look the same, but they're all different.
Here's the thing. I mean, I thought it was like that. I thought I could just enter that world if I wanted. I mean, I liked listening to it. I didn't want to, but when they came to town, when I thought it'd be kind of funny, and then I get one of those shirts, and I just not show up, or
Oh, you wanted that like smock shirt that says,
Well, I definitely wasn't going to buy one off of one of them. It's like dry cleaning ain't the big a deal anymore. But
I'm sure they got a stack of them that they can't get the blood out of.
Yeah.
Whenever I was younger, we've had to have times where we'd have no washer and dryer. So we'd have laundry day where you'd have to go to the laundry, laundromat. And a couple of different times you'd show up to the laundromat on days when carnies would show up. Oh, fuck, we gotta go. We're not doing laundry at the laundromat on Carney Day.
No way, dude. That's also their shopping day.
And they're getting their teeth cleaned. But I mean, there'd be a lot of interesting stories with those folks.
I agree with you,
watch that show for sure.
Yeah. If you could be around, if you could be right in the middle and hear their conversations and not have any smell, because I think it would be interesting. But when I think I filled out, I did what do you call them, application. I did a job application
for a carnival.
Yeah, I went in.
Now, did you go in as a roustabout? Because they need people to like pull the tent poles and stuff like that, or were you like you had your finger on a stick and you're like, I'm ready to hit the road, sir?
I wanted to be a dart guy or a jack of all trades.
Because you start off with it,
yeah, that's like a millwright, man. Yeah, I guess that's. But I don't know. I didn't have any pertinent experience, but I didn't want to tip off that I'd be a good barker. I didn't want that job, So my family's history is in the barking business. My grandpa was a trumpet player. He was like the James Frost win of the Fat Lady Circus outside of the Fat Lady's tent. And the Fat Lady, she'd just be a lady having a breakfast sandwich now.
Yeah.
We're taking a picture of one.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess, it's just a real fine line between that and geeking, In fact, you can get busted down to geeking. It's part of the culture.
Yeah, I think if you came in shooting for that barker position, you'd end up in a shallow grave on the day that you leave the town.
Yeah, well,
that guy seems to have some power.
Yeah, I'd feel like a cop. I was like, okay, I've crossed, it's like when you're a cop, you can't go back to not being a cop. When you're a carny, when you're on the other side of that tent and you're going, come on, and you're trying to make money for this company. I'd be just like, fucking stealing right and left and shit. There's no cameras out here. But I guess they probably sensed that, my intentions weren't carny like,
They thought you were not qualified.
I didn't get a call at all.
You applied and the carnival passed.
They
Hard pass.
That's why nobody wants to work anymore or something. I guess that doesn't apply here. And neither should I have. I should have just said, fuck their stupid shirts, but I thought it'd be fun. It says fun on the shirt. So
Funko.
Funorama or Funtastic, I think it was.
Fantastic Enterprises.
And here's maybe one of the problems with these guys is a lot of carnival workers live in Florida. Like trailer, they fill in the trailer parks and they're, they're nothing compared to the circus freaks. And it's like, people don't want to go out and gawk at carnies because the carnies are dangerous. They're, but so are probably circus freaks. But
circus freak is a job title. Carnies, that's a gang.
Yeah.
Man. It's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You're running from something if you're a carny.
Oh, totally. My dad, I don't know if I told you guys this. My dad had a lot of stepdads, and they were really fucking mean to him. And that's where I got my name from. It was the only stepdad that my father actually liked and was nice to him, and he took his name when he legally changed his name, and he changed it to Chaille. Well, I do remember, and I regret never talking to him about this. My dad ran away with the carnival at one time.
Nice.
He would always when he got in trouble, his mom and whatever stepdad he had at the time would be like, they'd give him a couple bucks and say, get the fuck out of here for a while to cool things off. So I think my dad was kind of a hellion. And it turns out at one point he joined the carnival. At another point, one of the stepdads loaded a shotgun and told my dad's mom, I'll be outside waiting for him to come back, and was waiting behind a tree for him to fucking show up with a shotgun. And my grandmother did not. She went to bed. That was what my dad. So carnival seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Did he? I was thinking, ironically, did he end up in one of those booths where, shoot the target, shoot the star out?
He's got one of those guns, but the sight's off, so like
I so regret never asking him about it.
Oh man, like a photo album. That's one thing. My grandpa had, that was really cool that I eventually went through. My dad, don't touch it. He was like. My dad didn't like, just sharing or talking to us much or whatever. But that photo album was like something he didn't want us to fuck with. So it was, cool when they would leave and I go through it or whatever. But eventually one time he did, tell me a little, or, we talked about it. There was like the world's oldest man, his fucking old Indian guy is like, 108.
Are you looking at the Guinness Book of World Records?
Well, these are actual photos he had because he was, he was with my grandpa was, hanging with him or whatever.
Okay.
I mean, I guess he was one of, I like to think he was, just playing the horn and helping them, but he was one of them, So
did your grandfather play in like the carnival? Because a lot of times back then circuses had a live band.
Yeah, I think there was a marching band element of the performance of it. And
because that's how they would announce. They would come from wherever they offloaded everything off the train. They would then route through the city as advertisement to the carnival and the circus, and there would be a marching band and the elephants. But that's also how they got everything to the site.
Yeah. It's an interesting, to traveling, but it's like probably, what Hollywood would do is they would hire actors and they would have like teeth, or it'd be distracting. Like that guy's got a whole row of teeth. He's not really,
pearly whites.
How did he get to keep the rock contained to half of it? But they're like fucking tough guys, or smart asses, and could they come? There was maybe it was a part of gay 90s, or I remember this as like it was the biggest fucking excitement in Coquille.
Bar in Coquille.
Yeah, well, no, Gay 90s was
the
it's
festival.
our celebration of homosexuals and lesbian gay communities. And it's just like that, you know, it was a stupid celebration of nothing, is what it was, you know, with fucking dumb shit and fucking parades. But I forgot what was the I got Doug's wobbly drunk snogging going. I was going toe to toe with Stanhope in the drinks department last night, and I'm a little wobbly, but
we're talking about. I was saying the circus. That's how they would get.
Oh yeah. So the big, like, well, it's fucking Coke Heel's, like, you know, like, say big, it's like 40 feet or, but you know, half of the town had a carnival, and that's where it was like, that's where it become, you know, we were smart asses, and then suddenly we had somebody who, you know, this guy's not, you know, so we gave him a lot of shit there, and then that you know, later in life I got the shit beat out of me, and a carnival worker was a big, I was already beat up before the carnival guy got involved, but he, you know, I got, it was probably a, like, you know, sexual crime on his end too, you know, he was probably charged up, a wiry little fucking dude who's like, you know, but it was fun in Coquille, and I had numbers. It's an important thing with the, you know, when you got numbers, but it was just a fight in the midway and not involving the carny, and I guess he was just like, you know, looking for trouble. And he, you know, how do you, when two dudes are just two fucking white dudes and one dude, I mean, anyway, he sided with the other guy completely, you know, and, you know, he's wrong. I mean, it's probably right they matched up, because one turned out to be a cop and one was a fucking cop, carnival guy, you know, the cop of the carnival. He was in charge of those shot glasses, the sheriff of shot glasses.
Those guys were always crooked because they were part of the they
would brush your ring off. I saw that, man, but you know, it's like, you know,
carnival cop and the shot glass sheriff.
I'll bet they can't get away with half of it now. It's like, you know, you slid a ring off that plate. No, I didn't. I got a camera, dude. You know, call your pit boss. Let's sort this shit out.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's the only way they can make money on those things is scamming. There's YouTube channels devoted to how they rip you off.
I think
midway.
Was that on South Park? But I think you can legally call shenanigans. I think that's what you do. That basketball's too big, sir.
Yeah, it's usually the hoop is too small.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination. Yeah, so you can, you know, you have to have the perfect shot. You can't, you know, there's no bolt, you know,
no, it's all, it has to be all net, but there's, you
know, those motherfuckers, it goes like, here, you know, you get 3 balls. It's like, how about 3 shots? Yeah, same. And then you go, I got my own ball, thanks.
Yeah, that's how you get knocked out.
Yeah. Then that was what you'd be like, I solved the riddle, motherfucker. I got 3 basketballs and I made 3 shots, and bullshit about, no, you don't show us that and then go, now you're going to have to win up. No fucking way. You know, I made the 3 shots. I get whatever I want. Maybe the problem was, as they knew I'm the type of guy that'll call them on their bullshit, so they don't want me inside. If I got inside knowledge of what goes on there, I might be a whistleblower.
Yeah, that's when the guy who's running the game looks over out there and just goes to the guy that's gonna wrap your knuckles, and then you're gonna leave.
Yeah. I think though, you know, after I don't know about the COVID or whatever, but I think carnivals have made an attempt to put a better face forward. That's probably, I think I would have gotten hired in the traditional carny market, but I think they're like, you know, we're trying to move away from that sort of character, you know.
Well, Andy, your history shows that you weren't able to get a job in the carny market.
I know. Well, yeah.
Are you talking about today?
I didn't get an interview, you know.
No.
I was like that. I mean, I felt like if I could get it in.
When did you do this?
Delaney was she was still, I mean, it was like 10 years ago or so. It's just like, I mean, maybe a little longer, but I
I'll give you a call. Maybe your application will float up to the top.
well, and here's another thing is I thought it'd be, there was a well, there was like Eugene is not as diverse as I would like it. But there's a Chevron station that there was like 3 or 4 black guys, and one of them always was, I mean, like a real nice guy, and how's it going and everything. And then they had a help wanted sign, and I know how to pump gas. I've been to other states. So I thought I'll do that, just like whenever, I have to work for, not like a long time.
Hold on, Andy. Oregon, I think New Jersey or something. There's like 2 states that they don't let you pump your own gas as a driver.
Yeah, they
hire someone to come out and pump you, and they don't charge you extra. It's not like full serve charge.
And it's a crime, I think, or at least I think now there's a little, but they'll come running out,
Drag you the fuck down and tell you when you cross into the state, because they freak you the fuck out when you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get jacked for sure.
Yeah, so that was another one. I got, I filled in, education. I mean, I'm.
What did you put under education? That might be your downfall.
17th grade.
No, you said none.
No, I 12, 13.
Actually, 17th grade is also acceptable for none.
That's a solid answer.
Yeah.
I was in 15th grade, I guess.
You should be running.
Associate of Arts at I couldn't prove it because I never got it sent to me.
You should have said education. You should have said, sure, why not?
I'm open to it.
This time around.
Whatever you need.
Man, I got Associate of Carnival.
Associate of Scrambler baskets.
Got a Carnival of Arts.
My handwriting's not great. Which is, that's like it's I shouldn't be judged on my handwriting.
I think that's a good trait for a carny worker.
Yeah,
you can't duplicate your signature twice. They can't say you signed something.
Mm-hmm.
If it changes every single fucking time, good luck matching that signature.
Oh yeah. It's, I had a teacher really.
You're like my number 1 prospect right now for my carnival.
I had
one-time co.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be, I'd like to just be the guy. Well, ideally, I'd be the guy in a golf cart who didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah. Aim high.
Yeah, the boss man or whatever, maybe I just get a golf cart.
Andy, you're Charlton Heston in Greatest Show on Earth.
What if I can get?
What he did.
Yeah, did he took over the circus?
No, he ran the circus.
Yeah. So if I just got a golf cart in there and had, just wear a jacket, but but I worked the fair as a volunteer to get in free, but it was part of the ice skating club, so I would go, but we'd clean tables, right? Clean these tables, and we had the morning shift. And I didn't really get to talk to my daughter about work, my lack of work ethic or anything too much. But I was like, so we're supposed to wipe empty tables down for 5 hours? Fuck that. I'm just ditching the bucket. I'll be back around a few times. And I said, you guys can take laps. It's just if you see people who, tell you, what are you doing up here? Or, just do a lap, or you're filling the bucket.
That's your green line experience kicking in.
Yeah, but it's like I just it's like fuck these tables, and it's like people should clean up after themselves was kind of my attitude. And I think I was kind of I would let them okay, we're done over there. There's cheese, But sometimes they would turn around. Other times they would probably mutter "fuck off" or But, if I only got 1 or 2 tables wiped by the person who left the mess, that's 2 less tables for others to clean up after them. But
What was your job though? Was to clean the tables, right?
That's what the club got money for. So
yes.
I just wanted to see David Lee Roth. That was the only reason. And to help out, in theory. That's what I would, there's, I could work on, what's a work week, like 40? I don't know about that, but pared down like 20 or something, and I could just drive around and not really do anything.
Yeah.
I do that, I do it for as long as it was fun. But how could it not be fun to do that at the carnival, to drive around and shit?
Yeah.
I keep conflating carnival with circus. The carnival, you get raped by real people. At the circus, you get raped by fantasy characters.
Better costuming.
Yeah. But clowns, I'm guessing. Right.
Yeah. And how did that play into it? Like you were actually looking for a job at a carnival with a very close proximity to clowns. In fact, you might be using the same commissary tent.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I mean, I've never seen a clown.
They roll together.
I've never seen a clown at the fair. They don't. I mean, they would have to announce that.
They have to tell you, hey, if you're a clown, you're tell
for instance, Clown Day, or come out. You will see people in clown face, and if they take it too far, then you have to.
That could be your job. That could be your job on the golf cart. You could ride around spotting clowns.
I would
whistle, pointing.
You know what I would be? I would be
the circus with you.
I would be the Mitchell of the carnival. I would fucking, none of that shit. We'll fucking clean up after yourselves and don't be a dick. Put your face.
Definitely a need for that.
Yeah. I think that's what happened. At least the one that came around Eugene is, the guy's shirts were, they had, that's why they had fresh, crisp shirts on and teeth, some of them. And, their hair wasn't greasy. And I was like, so I was like, that's the angle of the comedy that day, is to go, wow, you guys clean up nice, or what happened to your dirty cousin Bruce? He used to do that job. How do you cover up them neck tattoos? And I never would have, I'm not the kind of parent that wanted my kid involved in doing that. I mean, when she was older and could make decisions on her own, if you want to get on the ride, take a look at things, and I don't, I never did the all day ride, here you go. It's this, 20% chance you might get maimed. Have a good time. The stupid shit of that fucking walk around and have those fucking air blowers, and you walk your face into a fucking dirty mirror.
Oh,
and
you're talking about the fun house.
Yeah, just stupid. Like, why would you do that? It's like, hey, we don't have money to go to Disneyland. Let's just fucking suffer through some,
that's
commoners.
Exactly it.
Yeah, it appeals to the losers.
And Andy wanted to get a job there. And
you wanted to go. You wanted to be amongst them.
Yeah, it's fucking way too. I don't. Them shorts don't fit any other time of the year. What are you doing? It's just an element of fucking celebrating being a loser. Fucking meat on a stick and fucking sticky apples and fucking filth and dirty mirrors and creepy fucking, hey, and let's enter our jam in there and see if we can get a ribbon. They bait the crafters in the crafters just show up and nobody gives a fuck about them or whatever, but they can offer it to people.
Slice of Americana.
I know, but they're dying. Nobody cares.
At this point, is the only place left to go after you get turned down for being a carny is stand-up comedy.
Well,
And
One
then
year-
the
Still
flip on,
take ya.
on the
Stand-up
fair.
comedy will always take you.
I shouldn't really diss it because I think it might be one of the only things I ever won was I won. I don't even remember what it was. Either a photo. I don't think I did any. I wouldn't have done any baked goods, so it must have been a photo. But my mom, she would win routinely with various things, and she's a terrible cook. She'd throw together something, and somebody would stick a ribbon on it. Fuck. It's a third place pie over here in Myrtle Point. At home, it's a fucking disappointment. I guess somebody knows what rhubarb is over here.
Yeah.
There was a mysterious death at the Coos County Fair one year, and I don't know if it was Dateline, but it was a Dateline-esque presentation of it. And they go the Coos County Midway, and it's just a fucking piece of shit, fucking dirty field. And it's like it has some sort of grass for the first day of the fair, and then it just turns to dirt, and there's a fucking, it's stupid. But I guess
where should they have it, Andy? Where should the fair be placed?
Well, it was
lot seems
that's in retrospect, it's the Eugene Fair is on asphalt and it's fucking baked.
Yeah.
So they try to have it in July, and they don't think about climate change because they're all fucking dummies. And they just people fucking pass out now and shit. I haven't been in years, but there's no relief there at that fair. At least when I got the shit beat out of me and I had a soft landing.
You didn't hit asphalt.
I didn't get if I could have got the shit beat out of me in Lane County, I'd have got concussed on the way down. my head hit. I thudded my head hard on the dirt, but I was like, it was about it was the edge of a concussion. I could still wobble to my feet, and But
Andy, I'm looking at the map here. The Coos County Fair looks like on the south west perimeter of Myrtle Point.
Myrtle Point, yeah,
before, and it is exactly what you said. It's like right before the river, and there's you can tell there's no development all the way around it.
Yeah, so it's like almost like Burning Man, where with old people and jam and crochet and shit. But this
right
kid,
over by it says it's right over by the high school, so they must use the high school
that town. My town, fuck them both. They're like Coquille and Myrtle Point are retarded conjoined twins that grew up to be 80 or whatever. They're just two pathetic towns. But here's an interesting thing. My father-in-law was the superintendent of Coquille schools and fired my dad anyway. That's he didn't fire him directly, but he had Ggreg do it. Had Ggreg do it over Zoom. But he saw that they're just two shitty towns. I'm sure he had he was a dignified man, so he probably said it different, whatever. But just two fucking white trash loser towns. Why not just jam those together? Why do we have a rivalry? We both want a 7-Eleven. We got it, and we can't move it over there. So just fucking try to be cool when you're at 7-Eleven. But they couldn't, and we called them goat rapers or whatever. And I'm sure we had just as many. In fact,
Wait, hold on, what'd you call them?
What is it? Goat sex. There's a. Not only did a lot of people in Coquille molest children, there's a fair amount of bestiality that went around in the rural districts. and I don't know if they're true. The kid I'll change his last name a little bit because he might be dead. Anyway, I'll change it. I went to grade school with this guy. Rotten teeth. Well, he had his teeth rotted out in grade school or before, 6th grade. His teeth had all rotted out. So our friendship was kind of had a limited time anyway, but he would come up. I don't know that we were actually friends, but he'd come up and go, bub, 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 and then I'd knock him down, we'd play Bionic Man together. But he was like, bub, 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 and fuck you, Bobby, jam him or whatever. And this could be an urban myth, but a few years after that situation, Bobby was raping his sheep. He come into this guy's barn and got, was over there a couple of times, and but I don't think he lived that far out of town to make that worth, it's something you justify. You'd have to be far out of town before butt fucking at somebody else's sheep,
Well, you don't want to butt fuck your own sheep, right?
I'd keep it in the house. Little mutton honey,
A little what?
A little mutton honey. That's what I call my sheep. Come over here, mutton honey. But I think you would rather, you don't want to, you don't anyway. That come around school or whatever, and kids can be awful when they're jealous or whatever. But we go, hey, you're not me. I'm going to say other kids did it, that I'm above doing this, but they go, Bobby, it's unfortunate his name was something in the sheep's range of, if his name was Ba, it would have been worse, but it was, so I tend to believe that, is true. I don't, I like if I ran into him, like me, now it'd be like Bill Murray in Stripes. It's like you and me, that night you went up and fucked that sheep. Me and you got to do some drugs.
Harvey, you animal.
Yeah. We got to get high, Bobby.
These stories
you tell. So it wasn't, anyway, this is back to the fair. There was a boy disappeared at the fair, but what the Dateline show said was Coos County Fair, where girls have big hair and big dreams. I don't think either of those were. I don't think the big hair necessarily applied to that generation, and big dreams. A lot of them still live there. Most of them still live there and punched out a bunch of fucking babies and shit. But it was that's how they framed it. When I heard that, it's like, people are missing. That's a serious business, and that made me laugh out loud. But the guy got murdered. So there you go.
I mean, what were the details? And how does that
he was
tie into
I think he was last seen at the fair, and he was murdered near it by it was like a school prank gone wild or something. There's a million reasons to murder somebody in Coos County.
Beat him with hair for having
Bobby VG. Oh man, not that. It was Bobby Wheeler. Bobby Wheeler, big hair and big sheep. But I don't. He didn't marry. So it's like he just realized probably he wasn't good at courting women, and he was good around animals or something. I don't know. I think morally it's wrong to fuck definitely an animal that doesn't want you to fuck it. But I guess if the animal's in agreement, I don't know why, if the animal does, the animal's got to be cool with it.
Animals can't talk, so that rules animals.
Well, but if you're just hanging out with a horse and it flops wood and you're into sucking a horse's dick or something, that seems like, I don't know. It's not anything I'd like to do. I like cuddling with kitties and doggies, but I'd never take it to second base. Light petting and gentle scratches, and I wouldn't be like Mishka with his nearly dead kitty he found in a dumpster, and he strokes it with a hard hand and takes videos of it. I respect the pet space. But if my, pet one, was like real sexy and wanted to, have at it with me or whatever, no, probably not,
Good answer.
Yeah.
I thought it was going another way, Chaille.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I did too.
I know. Well, all right. This is before my matrimonies anyway. I not made love. I put fingers in a
Andy,
girl.
we don't have a problem with
Yeah, no.
here.
All right. Well, this is high. I was listening to High Infidelity when I drove to the fair, and this might even been the same fair I got beat up, or it was no. This was a couple fairs before where I still, gave a shot at sneaking into the rodeo part of it, but went in hanging out, and like the horse barns are like the green room of the rodeo. So I was hanging out in the green room, and I was just hanging out, and there's a pretty attractive, a little, I don't know, nothing of size. I'm not a sizist, but then I might have been. We thought differently back then. We didn't know what a healthy childbearing hips look like. But I made out with a girl who won. She's a ribbon winner. She's, in fact, there were like 3 ribbons in the above the corral. I was making out with her, and I managed to get some fingers in her pants. I was in this is like high school-ish, and I didn't expect that. I wasn't even in 4-H, and then I went back to go. It wasn't like we were both interested in this. Okay. And she was not she was probably my age, but she's real proud of her ribbons. So she might have been on some sort of a spectrum. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I like your ribbons. But I went to look for her later, and she, it's probably in the rodeo or whatever. And then I didn't hook up with her anymore. I don't know if you even exchanged numbers back then. You just kept her smell on your finger and hoped you'd run into him again. So that was, the fair gifts and the fair taken away.
Hey, Andy, the kid who disappeared, that was Jeremy something?
I think so.
It was like
it
1986. I was reading.
Yeah.
He was 14 years old, size 13 shoes, and weighed 140 pounds. 14 years old.
Wow. That was a big feat.
I mean, big guy.
And didn't they shoot him and put him in a hole or something like that?
I didn't see that. I didn't read all that. But it was one of those things where it's like, Jesus, man, he's 14 years old.
Yeah, that's what we call a Coos County abortion. A late term abortion. No, I mean, I'm sure that kid didn't, but it was a weird, thing to happen, in Coos County, but it's like not anymore. Big hair and big dreams will soon be squished by a white powdery substance. Yeah. What are the big dreams to work, work at the Myrtlewood factory?
Well, Chaille, put the poster for the fair back because they've got a new saying. I was trying to read it behind your head. It's like blue jeans and
jeans and country dreams.
Country dreams.
Dude, there's somebody on the musical lineup I thought would be all right, but then I would be at the.
Maybe we should go.
I'd be at the fair.
Remote from
it's like that South Park where Randy doesn't want to go to the baseball game because he'll have to fight. I don't know. I'm way past my going to the fair and getting in fist fights age. And I leaked. Well, I leaked that much blood on a regular out another spot, but once I got hit in the face by a keg of beer, like right here, it's like there's some talk that we were out of beer, and somebody hoisted it up to see if it had beer weight or whatever, and I was too curious, and it come down and smashed me in the eye, and I leaked leaked a lot of blood, and I realized that some women are kind of into that, or maybe they were just like, I was drunk as shit and like walking around leaking blood, and I guess what I now think might have been like interest in me sexually was probably somebody just going, Jesus, you got to get a Band-Aid on that. Your fucking head's leaking blood. But
you go in for a kiss.
The cop that eventually he became a cop. He landed the ultimate sucker punch that was intended for Mitch, my friend, but he landed the perfect punch, and that was already fucking with me. And then when I went back to defend my own honor, like my friend,
after the leaking stopped.
I went back to the car, and like here's. Don't get it looks cool in the old West or whatever to take a swig of whiskey and then pour some on your wound. That's Hollywood, man. They're probably using Bactine or it ain't even a real wound. It's probably, but I went out there and did that, and then a couple of my friends were gonna go fucking beat this guy down for what he did, and then I went to go, it's like, I'll do it. And I found him.
Yeah, you're already bleeding.
Yeah, they went one loop. I guess I went down the other, and then I found him, and then that's why the carnival worker thought I was trouble. I was leaking blood, smelled the whiskey, and I tried to hit the guy and missed and fell down, and then that dude started punching me, and then the carnival worker jumps in to add his 2 cents worth.
Yeah.
And he punched me, and I already had that open wound, but I think I probably lost enough blood that I probably should have gone to a hospital or something. I went and fucked that guy. Ended up, while my friend did bone that guy, the guy who assaulted me for he wanted to hit my friend who he thought was fucking his girlfriend, and then he was, and then he went and did it again.
Your friend was fucking the dude's girlfriend?
Yeah, and I helped facilitate it after the assault or whatever, and then I ended up with these girls were pretty fast.
Carnival fair girls tend to be.
Well, I mean, that's a big week for everybody, and I got fucked on that. As my grandma would go, she'd pay for my all-day ride bracelet sometimes, and that was my birthday present. But I should have asked for something else or more too. Like, okay, that's somebody was going to have to do that, but why are you calling that my birthday gift? And I would have, if I'd have known more, now I'd have said, you owe us, Grandma. You've done some fucking shit, Grandma. Have another swig of cough syrup, you alcoholic, current alcoholic, because that shit has alcohol in it, Grandma. I would like.
So you feel like you got gypped, like if your birthday was on?
Yeah, exactly. It was, because and when I didn't go to, I got, she had a lot of guilt or whatever, so I was her favorite, and and why wouldn't I be? You've seen most of my brothers, a lot of times they'll choose the youngest because that's just the weakest or the baby or whatever. But in my family, it's legitimately a good choice. There's some other ones that could backfire spectacularly. You got trailer space? Yeah, you chose that one. All right, but I'm not bragging. I can't hear anymore. There we
hear Erickson, but I don't see him.
Yeah, he's over. He's broke down the third wall.
He's making a drink. Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
he's plying his head with booze so he can go back to big factory. It's good to see you pouring a drink, though. Didn't you quit drinking a minute ago? Oh, wait, let's wait till he gets back on his microphone.
Let's save the questions.
But he does get haircuts. You can tell his neck's been cleaned up.
So, Andy, is that the goal? Is to get a hair? Well, to fix the microphone situation. And did you want to get a Texas haircut? That's not a euphemism. That's
Yeah.
haircut in
I
Texas.
do a Paris, Texas haircut where I have croissant on each side. I mean, yeah, if I fell into one or whatever, but I mean, yeah, it's I don't know.
You haven't had a haircut since you got done with chemo, right?
Yeah, I do it myself. Well, I do
Yeah,
haircuts.
yeah.
I do haircut myself. That's
Yeah.
the problem. You know, I mean, I think it looks, well, what I'd want to do is just like, is there something that can be done better that's going on here? You know, it might be that this is just it now.
You're wondering if something could be done better than you giving yourself a haircut?
Yeah, a little trim here, and then you know, they do, you leave a little bit, clip around and stuff. But yeah, it's just it looked good. That was a really nice mirror at that place. And you know, it's like, you know, I try not to look at myself because, you know, but that one I was like, wow, there's that. Oh, look at that fucking poor old dude, and his hair's all fucking Kramer-esque, unintentionally Kramered, and you know, patches missing and shit. And chemo didn't do anything to my hair that I'm aware of. It's just fucked up now.
So
That's all right.
So were you insinuating that Erickson cuts his own hair?
I think that's what he
Or
thought.
were you just
He's
asking?
me.
That's some of the words that were there, but I knew he was getting ready to order, so I wanted to keep it tight. And what he could have said is, yes, I do. Give me a second, and I'll tell you how. And then I would have thought of something, you know, like, okay, yeah, do you like it when they hold the mirror up and you can look at the back of your head? I just always go, yeah, it looks all right. Because what are you going to do at that point, you know?
Well, you could say cut more.
Well, I'm just wondering now, do you think that places that cut hair are still closed? Or do you think that Erickson's hair looks bad?
Fair question.
I had well, I used to. I thought his hair looked. I mean, I didn't see him in the mirror or whatever. But Brett's the, you know, our you know. Well, I'd say Chaille's been, you know. But you guys, all right. I like your hair. You know, your hair's working out pretty good for your ages or whatever. And I don't feel like mine is anymore, or maybe ever was. But
so you like
your hair's fine. You've got a nice,
so
you've got a little Anderson Cooper kind of thing going on. I think you're in a good spot.
Andy, I wouldn't have known that Andy cuts his own hair. I thought
Me either.
He got haircuts.
I asked. I didn't accuse.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, you know, me and George Clooney, you know, both cut our own hair because we're in the handsome game. You can't, when your existence depends on being handsome, you can't let somebody else clip your hair all willy-nilly, you know.
Well, now that you've pointed it out, I know that you cut your own hair. I mean,
you kind of see it on the side there a little bit, a little uneven.
Well, how I knew the back wasn't working out, and you can do the mirror trick at home on your own, but my daughter said, yeesh, you know, and it was just that but I'd like, it's not easy to get a haircut. It's just like I couldn't get a breakfast sandwich anymore. I have to go to find a new place, and this one was a shitty place, but there was just this one lady in there that you know,
was it a chain?
Yeah, it was like, you know, hey dudes, come in and get your, you know, master race cut. Hey, are you a pro?
Was it Sports Clips?
Sports Clips, and
See, that's the one I was going to suggest you go to, because they give you the hot towel.
Yeah, but they show up, and then you get on the list, and they also towards the end of this place they had an app. And I actually made that work a couple of times because I was like, I know how the fast pass at Disneyland. This makes sense. I get to jump in here. But I don't like to, you know, it's like, it's a random draw. I'm like, there's some of these bitches, or, you know, I know, there's one who talks too much. There's one who had maybe pressed her tit against my head, and it was not a tit I wanted up against my head. But there's just things that, you know, fall apart in the haircutting process, and you have to move on. And when you get somebody good, it's like, you know, you want to stick with them. I got to go to a new dentist and a new hygienist or I just go stay at Stanhope's for a few weeks and get the meat wig cleaning. But I'm not, that's going to be tough because finding it, it's like, oh, I don't want to be hurt. And I know how those go. And I've not been doing my end of the work at all. So when I go in there, they're going to, like, well, no, here, just give me the drug. I brought drugs and I'm going to do some of yours and you're going to do them all. And I have to do them all what you can in a half hour. Do your best.
This morning I had to go to an appointment. I've been waiting for it. The VA set it up for it. They're paying for me for these headaches that they can't figure out. And they're going to do acupuncture on my head. And I was like, right on. I walked in and had to fill out paperwork. I made it through one page and I told the lady, I said, ma'am, I said, I'm just going to have to cancel. And she's like, today? I said, I'm probably the whole thing. And she said, okay, why? I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I said, it really stinks in here.
What?
I didn't tell her. I almost said it fucking stinks in here, but I was trying really hard to be nice. But it smelled so fucking bad in there. And she, as she put it, she says, "Well, you can come back tomorrow when I'm not bathed in patchouli."
Oh, weird.
I told her, I said, I came in here for headaches. I said, I had a headache when I came in. I said, ma'am, I can't keep my eyes open. At one point, I ran out the door and just talk to her from the sidewalk.
You could probably get a YouTube video and how to self-acupuncture. It's because you're okay with needles and isn't it just jamming needles in your head?
But your takeaway on this whole thing is, it's fine. Jamming needles if you own it.
No, I mean,
probably fine.
Yeah, how come you're not DIY in this, man? A Home Depot card.
You got needles, don't you?
Yeah, and stick them with the pointy end.
Watch that movie.
That's a comment card thing or a callback when you know she's not there. That's offensive to anyone walking in the building. And people are allowed to have their own smell, but I mean that could be a trigger for someone's headaches. Just that it's in itself.
This lady's batshit crazy. I can already tell. She rambled on and on the phone whenever she made the appointment with me the first time last week. And just like, it's by the animal hospital. You don't take your animals to that hospital, do you?
Okay. Oh shit! Yeah.
And then at one point, everybody tells me I talk too much, so you'll just have to tell me to shut up, okay? And I was like,
wrong guy
man. Oh yeah. I got ear raped. We're sitting. Me and Brett were sitting in Mitzi's, and they let some of the people come into that bar before the shows, so
it's open to the public. It's
a great bar. You hang out there, it's so cool, and everybody in there is great. And Mitchell's behind the bar, and Tracy's behind the bar, and then it's like, these people are the common people. The common people came in, and there's a couple of ladies sitting there, and they're eavesdropping or whatever, or anyway, they use this as an icebreaker. How do you have a cell phone? So she's using that as an icebreaker. She's a chatty Cathy. I have to sometimes trade information and listen to my wife, for instance, but she started talking about the same things. This lady is like, I'm not going to take it from somebody else, but she just wanted to spin it. And then she was the teachers are, nobody wants to teach anymore. And they want to, it's like, it's fucking awful. I don't have a point about it, but just don't talk to me, lady. You fucking ear rapist bitch.
I was in a bad mood already when I went over to this thing, and I go, I'm gonna just tell this lady she'll know already by my fucking mood.
Yeah.
to shut the fuck up when I go. So I don't think I'll have to worry about it. But I
Yeah.
will tell this lady to shut the fuck up.
That should be a
Like,
Yelp.
doesn't make
That I
no
mean,
good.
you know, that should be where people should just have a you know, a Yelp review as a person. Say, you know, maybe you talk too much. Bill from Cleveland says, yes, you talk too much, you fucking bitch. I'm never coming near you again, you know, but you don't know that. And then when somebody says, oh, I may talk too much, then that's it, the end of it. It's like, that's one of the worst things that you can do.
Well,
for a woman, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about shrilleries.
The thing is, I'm supposed to go back tomorrow at noon, and I have no idea how I'm gonna not tell her. You know, she's gonna say, "I'm sorry about that," and I'm gonna say, "Oh, you know, maybe it's not common sense to not smell like fucking dollar store incense and fucking Skid Row hobo in your fucking business, you know, place of business." I don't know.
Nice way.
Knowing those words, that's
Okay.
that's my problem. I don't know how to fucking do that.
I'm trying not to name names, but one of my brothers has the odor problem, and he's always had it. In fact, now I think I might have it. But he's a fragrant gentleman. He'd wear my shit and ruin it because like I don't want to smell like him or be you know you don't want to find out there's dry or slow dancing with somebody and you got this cool terry cloth shirt on. You don't want to find out your brother, mysterious brother Rex, wore it and then put it in your closet without washing it. And that my mysterious brother Rex worked with patients, and some of them didn't make it. and that's what they went out to. One of my friends, we'd play basketball, and then me and my friend versus my brother Rex, and my other brother Speed Racer, or somebody else, or whoever. And games would get pretty heated, and it was a dangerous court, and it's just like safety hazards all around and shit. And we will, we didn't want to lose or whatever, but they called it. My friend called it the sixth man, even though it's just 2-on-2. It should have been the third man or whatever. But my brother Rex's mysterious odor, not mysterious odor, but his odor made it hard at crunch time to play shutdown defense, And if that was your game, or if that was your thing, then that's actually, there might be pro athletes who will shit themselves for an advantage or whatever. But this is just he just leaks stink out of him from an early age. body, yeah, but as a like. Well, anyway, I won't say the profession. I think I've covered it nicely, and we, I won't get a Facebook message saying, I thought you cared about me. Yeah, oh man, he sends me Facebook's message, and I don't acknowledge him there. If I acknowledge him there, I'll have to acknowledge other people, and I don't want to do that. And if I have a phone number, and if you don't have it, you can get it probably. Larry's loose lips. He could get my number and send those messages, and I would have to call him. But since he's trying to shame me on messages, okay, well, whatever. He one time he called me, and then I was dodging it.
Is this Mr. Mysterious?
Yeah, Mysterious Rex.
Right, well, you did say a name.
Yeah, that was a different guy. Yeah, Mysterious.
Okay. Well, don't pay no attention to the name.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, I think some of our anti.
I can believe that one.
No, I've never heard anything from any of my brothers that they listen to anything. So I don't think they know how to do computers and shit like I do.
The one good thing is that nobody gives a shit about what anybody else is fucking doing in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're at the dinner table. All we want to do is just gobble up and get away from each other. Not even gobble. I was like the kid in Christmas Story. I did a lot of crying, and I have acted. I was like, my mom would do a no thank you bite, and I go. It's just anything she, whatever I didn't want to eat. I go. Mainly the problem is I go. My mom was like no fucking concept on. Hey, we don't have the main ingredient for what you say you're making. That happened. That happened a lot. So, and I would go to the store, and my dad, make sure you bring me all the change. So, what am I going to do? I have to steal stuff now. I mean,
there's no other choice.
I can maybe cheat a candy bar or whatever. But my dad liked receipts and stuff, which I'd lose. It was like 40 feet from our house. The store Safeway is like this, down our walkway was Safeway, and but I'd go there, dinner time, and I'd be at Safeway, and then I'd eat a candy bar or 3, or I had no like too much, or that didn't I'd eat 4 or 5 Snicker bars or whatever I could fit in my back pockets. I thought nobody, it's not, nowadays they'd run you into the police station, but it worked there enough.
You were stealing because you weren't getting like the pot roast dinner.
I don't want to.
It was minus an ingredient.
But I go down there. I go down, and then eventually it was like kind of referred to as the kettle of death, like stuff. It was like fucking Art Hinty, sloppy plates of meat, and then the dog would clean things, and you didn't know if they got washed or nobody. People would write notes about other people leaving dirty dishes, and then dishes would stack up around the notes, and
You guys didn't have like a chore board or something?
We got every once in a while there'd be a big blow up and shaming and a nervous breakdown or whatever. And but no, it's never any well, here's what's gonna happen around here.
Family
my dad was a dead-legged hands-off leader, and he didn't get involved. He didn't offer solutions. When I pointed out, I was probably I went and got woke. I went up to Southern Oregon State. Well, I got sort of woke, community college probably, but anyway, I knew you shouldn't, we can't have that chihuahua under that stove like that, but it's not sustainable.
100% of the people surveyed would say that, would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
His name is Taco, and that ain't even what you do to a taco. But my dad would we'd had one of those old wood stoves, and we'd use it to heat the house. And it was a drafty old barn, and it was fucking cold. And but we'd all huddle around that thing, and Taco was there's like bricks. There's like, I don't think it was, I wasn't like with a tape measure or anything, but none of this, Taco's closer to the fire pit than he should be. I think you need, you need to jack that up a little or whatever. But I was, I didn't even take any classes on this. I just came back and was troubleshooting. But my old man was burning chucks. It's basically that's where I got cancer. My dad's fucking burn pit. He would we called
the burn pit was your heating stove in the house, right?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Sometimes I don't. My dad liked to burn stuff up in there, and he would throw chucks. We'd lay those
Chuck Taylors.
No, they were. I don't even know. That's probably not the under pads they lay. I had them all around me in the hospital where you leak your fluids on or whatever.
Oh,
it's kind of plastic.
It's a barrier so that you don't soil the mattress.
Right. It's part paper, but
a puppy pad.
Right. There's part paper and there's part something that kind of blows up and has off-color smoke. And I said, Dad, I don't think you should do that anymore. And he goes, well, what the hell do you want me to do, mister?
It makes sense you'd call them chucks because you soil
Yeah.
them and chuck them out.
Yes, he's and they have fluids, fluids, and he's burning them, and little chihuahuas down there, fucking toxic smoke in the house, and then we didn't get out and clean. No, we didn't have no fucking chimney sweeps up there. We never cleaned that stove the whole time, or the chimney the whole time I lived there, and he's burning plastics in there. And I was just trying to help, I was trying to help out, and you get physical with me if you want, but he did not. But that's that kind of temperament he would get, He's like that video me and Brett were talking about, where the guy was getting a $10 ticket for a clicker ticket thing, and the guy goes, "Hey, I'm breaking up my sunglasses now. How do you like that? Is that just carrying on and shit?" And that's every day at the Andrist house with somebody doing that sort of shit. But
oh man.
Pipe up here, literally.
I just can't imagine. You've really painted a picture with the smell of that house.
Yeah.
Basically, like it was an incinerator pit for a hospital.
Yeah.
You had going on there, and that was how you heated the house.
Yeah, back in those days.
The neighborhood also benefited from the burning of the chucks.
Unfortunately, there was no way to exploit my family's weakness for popularity and prizes, because there's no way to do that back then.
Yeah.
You wanted to, show off. You called into the radio or something, but nowadays it'd be like keeping up with the Andrists or whatever, on the low end or whatever.
Yeah, you did that kind of embarrassment from everybody back then. Show it off to the world.
Yeah,
$1 million TV show.
I guess we were shameless hoarders or whatever, but we could, my dad would sometimes lose his cool. And I think he was responsible for a fair amount of it, but he would chuck everything onto the floor. He was good at he would have been a good, not a good TV writer, but somebody who would have worked in TV writing for years. I just slam your hand down and throw a fucking tantrum and sidetrack things, because he's very, he'd do that kind of shit. But I used to do this joke about my dad was in a wheelchair, and there's this, oh man, I can't even remember it, but it was about how my dad would try to hit me, but there was a certain point he wouldn't cross the stairs. Yeah, there was a lot of times where my dad wheeling behind me with urgency, mad, and he telegraphed it, by wheeling fast and coming at, and there's one door. You get through the living room, if it was started, sometimes it'd start outside. Go in through the kitchen, you hope to slow him down in the horde coming into the kitchen. And then I get to that door, and then, I couldn't slam it in his face because he was already halfway through it. And then I just had steps, and that's when we'd have, but I wouldn't come down to him. Yeah. It's like, I think if I come down to you, I think we're both going to regret what you're going to, but why would you, I wanted him to feel,
no one would.
Yeah. And it's like, it was a real power, it was a power move. And when it happened the first time, I realized, he didn't work, but it was like, you're not able to get up here, man.
I mean, you had to go back down eventually, right? You didn't.
But
I think he'd cool off, right?
Yeah. I mean, he made up for it.
My dad would just beat the fuck out of me.
Your dad would stay at 100% until he would beat you.
My dad would. He would. I mean, I never took a hot. I'd take the beginning of a hot shower, but my dad didn't like that, and he. We had that big, remember I talked about my grandma gave us money, or we had a upgrade to the Andrist house, and we had this, it was big doings, we'd never had anything like this, and we had a remodel, and that's when it was a real shitty remodel, just basically like a big out frame of a big giant shower stuck in another room with an entrance in the bathroom. So you basically go into this other room, and, Dad could hear right through that thing, and he didn't like long showers.
He didn't like you guys taking him.
He didn't like me. He took a long shower himself. He had to sit he'd sit in a shower chair that he, had a hole so he had to shit right through it, I guess.
Yeah.
But he, like if I grew, I'm going upstairs and go, whatever. See it, I'll be up here or whatever. But then I go down to take a shower and then, he turns off the hot water.
You'd physically go down and
he goes shut it off. Yeah.
Wow.
Turn off completely. So you go from a hot, enjoyable shower to like, I'm wrapping this up now and getting out, and it worked. I didn't know he was doing it for years. I just thought
3-gallon water.
Yeah, I just thought masturbating in the shower wasn't a good option. But I think my dad actually, he'd make that kind of, what are you in there playing with your, like he didn't, there's something wrong with him, I think. Yeah. I think I have a shinier version on him than I should.
I think his version of this story might be a little bit different. I feel like as the fifth boy is going through his masturbating in the shower phase, he's done. He's had it. He knows exactly what's going on in there, and his water bill's through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
Can't be taking a hot shower for 45 minutes.
For once, he's got a way to combat it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Drain is just like a complete clog over it.
Yeah. Well, and that might be a cool thing, a teaching moment in the summer, in a drafty old house. But when you do it, a fucking cold house, come home after football practice or whatever and take a shower, and then the old man cuts the fucking hot water off because I wouldn't listen to his lecture the other day, and then I got to go up and fucking cold, and I didn't have
Andy, honestly,
heater in my room.
Are we talking 5 minutes? He turns it off.
Well, it depends. I mean, if he was water conscious that day.
I know you're not really good with time.
No, but when they would leave though, I'd tell you, I mean, half a day, whatever. I'd go take that wheelchair with a hole in it. I'd drink beers and sit in that wheelchair and fucking yank it off if I wanted to. Piss down the hole. And no, it was so the water bill all evened out. We're still using the same amount of gallons no matter how you cut it. He got I blame it on him being in a wheelchair, but it's like, some of it I think he definitely had his moments, where I think it told me, or Chim Chim told me that he got a few wake up calls. By the time my old man got to me, he'd given up on trying, and then God saw what was going on and said, "My son, now I will take your legs away." So he did. He took his legs, eventually took them both off at the knee, and he still didn't care about his kids. So then God said, "How about some diabetes?" As my theory is God is Wilford Brimley.
That's updated.
And then he had kidney failures and whatever, but I'd like to think it was the vaccine that killed him.
He's patient zero.
And his death and Larry fucking up all the photo albums and a lot of key evidence missing. There's no way that anybody's ever going to be able to confirm that I was summer groundskeeper at Camp Lejeune and I was in charge with spraying weeds with large amounts of Roundup. And my dad, he'd remember what we took that summer. We drove up to North Carolina, Camp Lejeune.
You should definitely look it up.
Well, I knew that when I got a call from lawyers about a lawyer group about it, and then I left 3 messages in short order, and I'll come up with a story here, and I kept putting it off, and I know I fumbled on my side, and I think everybody wants the best for everybody, so like it's just I don't have any. Nobody would shit, how do you prove you were someplace you weren't at a time? You know.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of carnies to corroborate.
All right. Yeah, I filled out a thing to work here. And sorry, I'm running a scam premise. But I did get phone calls on that one. And then there's I forget what other class action I entered.
You got calls on the Camp Lejeune or
the
Roundup?
The Camp Lejeune, yeah, and Roundup. I could, I gave them a nice letter, how much I appreciated their product. Bees are problematic, and this takes care of it a lot of times.
You wrote a letter to Monsanto.
I wrote a letter to, I filled out the thing, and then, I told, spray Roundup around in the yard, and I'd lay out on it, and, and I have pancreatic cancer and all that. So, I'm using a little truth, working my way back to proving that is true. Well, whatever, but I don't have mesothelioma, nor could I spell it enough to even find it. I don't even know if I could find it in my phone by attempting to spell it. But that one, I don't have mesothelioma. So that's stealing valor, but I had these, but Roundup's real snooty about the kind of cancer or whatever. It was like, well, cancer, okay, it was a little over from there or whatever, but I got it and I liked your product. I mean, I did. I like to think I was kind of an organic gardener or whatever, but when people weren't looking, I'm not pulling no fucking weeds. You give them a little of this shit and they crumple over and fucking disappear. Shit, if they were Roundup for people.
Andy, you don't think maybe telling them in your wonderfully worded letter that you would spray Roundup on the grass and you would lay on it?
Well,
pancreatic cancer.
Lay on
maybe they thought there was a red herring here.
Lay on it for hours with my child.
Even more, yeah.
Walk barefoot, masturbate into it. That's how lush our grass was.
I mean, they probably got 1 million of those letters like that.
Yeah, and I think their talent coordinator didn't see potential with my thing or whatever. But Camp Lejeune, I mean, obviously they're looking for people that are doing infomercials at night. You wake up 101-year-old birdie up in the fucking attic in the house. Were you at Camp Lejeune? There's an ad on. We're looking for people who are at Camp Lejeune. Were you at Camp Lejeune, Grandma? There's not many survivors of the Camp Lejeune water. But I would like to, throw my thing with sue the chuck makers, because my cancer probably can't be proved that it came from Camp Lejeune. But I know what happens.
You're right. It probably can't.
Yeah, that's 100% correct statement.
I'll give them all the medical papers they want. I got a lot of documentation on my end, just nothing that links me to Camp Lejeune.
Nothing that has anything to do with it.
Or that
or maybe know what state Camp Lejeune is even in. That's
I think it's
far away from having the story together.
Well, I was a baby. I mean, child labor. I was like a toddler, and they like strapped this Roundup on this kid, and I wandered around spraying flowers. They nearly fired me for it.
You're conflating the mesothelioma with the Camp Lejeune water.
Yeah.
That could be problematic in your.
That's why it's wise I haven't talked to the because I still think I might be a hot prospect in the Camp Lejeune. They called right away. They did a follow-up. They did a second follow-up because they know, us Camp Lejeuners, we're hard to get back, what happened at Camp Lejeune, a lot of us won't talk about it.
Yeah,
Andy, what did they ask you? Do you remember any of the questions?
No, they just they go, we got your, Mr. Andrist, and please get a hold of us. They just left messages in,
voicemail.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, sometimes you can wing it, but this, I didn't. I need to figure out the years I was there, and
you called them, and you sent in a thing.
No, I sent in and filled out.
but yeah,
Like the blanket 800 call or the late night commercials. There's a number.
Well, I got in. I was trying to get in early.
When you did that, you never thought, well, I should definitely get my story together in case they get back to me.
I didn't think they'd call back, so I was like, you know, it was like I filled out a resume. I was not expecting the phone to ring in that regard. So, but I mean, you know, I got the cancer. I mean, I had, you know, I had it or whatever. Like, you know, they cut it out of me. I ain't got it no more. But I have it. I can prove I have it. And people who are Camp Lejeune have that cancer, or some of them. So, you know, we're all here for haircuts, and why not? We just do them all, you know. I mean,
it'll slide into that list. There'll be a big list of people in the end that
if their ultimate goal, though, is to get a bunch of fucking people to say they were there so they can get more people into this class action on, and we're probably not going to get anything. I mean, you know, all of us Camp Legionnaires, we probably ain't going to get much, and the lawyers will take a big thing. So they want me to be honest with them. And I want them to believe that I would be honest, so that we could just put together towards that probably $75 check that I'll get in 6 years. You know,
that's very optimistic.
But it hurt, you know, it hurts to you know, I'll throw this out and move away from it. But my molestation, the guy was intended to be in the Catholic Church. He just wasn't very good at it and didn't make it, you know. So, and then all these other boys get raped, you know, they're on the inside, and I'm getting some fucking hack freelancer who couldn't even make monk or whatever. So I'm out of the class. I got raped by the Catholic Church once removed, you know. I didn't have to get, you know.
You got raped by the guy who didn't make the team.
Yeah, I took catechism in Palo Alto with you know, one-man circus, you know. So, and now I forgot how that tied into the other, but
you have had the unluckiest bits of bad luck.
Yeah, right? So why can't my, you know,
luck is you got the unlucky version,
right? I should have been in those lawsuits, like this guy, right. You know. But I, like, you know, and I could call him up and say, "Hey, Steve, what's going on?" You know, yeah, Paul Provenza's still making the movie. You know, you're still on the hook, motherfucker. You know, don't think that movie ain't just right around the corner. You know, but I could ask him, you know, like I didn't really listen to him much, you know, you know, he's the one who started this problem, but he'd tell me stuff and I didn't really listen, but every once in a while and get kind of interested, you know. Kate Jackson from Charlie's Angels. No, not really. And, you know, and then he, you know, but then you know, he wrote her a letter, you know. I mean, I didn't say it at that time, and it's like I file it away, and years later I find it very odd that, you know, he wanted me to get a haircut like hers, you know. He suggested I get a haircut like that, you know. I had a bowl, you know. My mom did my haircutting back then, and then, like, he probably could have, you know, that next level, this relationship, bro. Let's get the haircut. Let's not talk about it, you know. But you know, I don't think he was a, you know, what the righties are calling a strong example of a man. You know, that not that just his handicap, though. I think he was a pussy, kind of. Yeah, I suspect he's a pussy. Steve, if you're listening, I think you're a fucking pussy. But
there's the Kate Jackson cut.
Yeah, she had a different one.
Yeah, she had a really short.
Oh,
yeah,
was it like a Dorothy Hamill almost.
Yeah, it was a definite Dorothy Hamill, and you know, I wish I would have had one. I mean, not for him, but, you know, for myself. You know, bringing a picture of the angels. I'd like my haircut like that one.
Come out of there with the Farrah Fawcett. Like,
yeah.
Oh no, I pointed to the.
I gave you I can't think of the other one. There's Jacqueline Smith. Yeah, and then them other unknown ones. Can anybody name the fourth angel? No.
Well, there
Oh.
was
One or two
Cheryl
Farrah
Ladd.
Fawcett's.
Mhm.
Yeah, Cheryl Ladd.
Oh
Cheryl
yeah, yeah,
Ladd.
yeah. She was great. She did really.
Tanya Roberts.
And she had some nice. She had some historical, beautiful nipple photos in this.
Yes, she did. There's some
Yeah.
good Cheryl Ladd posters floating around out there too.
Yeah, you talk about being groomed by something for inappropriate purposes in a grade or middle school. I would find the swimsuit issue in the library and take it on home. Yeah, so he's like, but that she's, I bet she probably didn't, have any interest in responding to him.
Kate
But
Jackson.
yeah, I thought
Yeah,
she was
probably
kind of,
not.
I thought she was a little more boyish looking, I mean, I must have been a pretty young man, probably have female markers. I told you I'm woke.
Yeah.
But
Looking
yeah.
for the quintessential Cheryl Ladd poster, and I had no idea she had so many posters.
Oh, she
Mhm.
was. Yeah, she was something else, man. She's another hottie. Did you see the Martha Stewart swimsuit?
Oh yeah.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit covers and Martha Stewart.
She's 8.
Fucking 1 year old.
Yeah, that's I mean, and she looks like she's a sexy 50 something, really. So, but I'd like to see the swimsuit issue if they try to keep that as the, we're only 80 or above this year. we don't have as much money for this.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Girls gone senile. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, I thought those were, I only looked at a few of them, but yeah,
This is the only one I saw.
hell yeah, that that was my grandma. I'd make love to her.
Mhm.
My grandma wasn't my grandma was not. She wasn't anything that would turn me on. She had a big ass, I mean, big titties that never had anything holding them from doing what they wanted to do. Big titties, unrestrained for life, flopped out, and then she had big ass fucking legs, big fucking cankles and everything. God damn, is that from the same thing?
They're together in this
Mhm.
photo. It's cover stars Megan Fox and Martha Stewart wear a Norma Kamali swimsuit.
I wonder how many of the swimsuit models historically in the, that were featured on the cover of the swimsuit issue could pose at 81 and look as good as the queen of, cooking or whatever. So, I mean, that's kind of funny. She must, have
That
good,
age.
One of the things that has helped her is if she's had any work done, it's been minimal.
yeah.
So, like that's what'll fuck you up when you get old is you have a lot of facelifts and shit.
I think her face got tightened up when Snoop Dogg gave her the fucking, the down low or the gin and juice.
That'll change you.
Yeah,
That'll
especially
change.
like a 70-year-old broad getting a, first, maybe, I don't know. Snoop may not have that impressive of equipment. I'm stereotyping. I'm sorry for that. Snoop has an average or small penis. It ruins the idea of it. He's a large man, so he's probably got big feet.
Yeah.
So I can say safely, just like that kid who went missing at the fair.
Jeremy
Was size 13. He had so many good years of finger blasting and cock hammering girls before he settled into a shitty life of fucking, pregnating different fucking cousins. And, maybe not that kid, maybe he would have been the one to turn it around for the county. We've had success. Well, we haven't. I can't think of any, but I was going to say we've had success stories in Coquille, but I'd have to document that.
Well, when you make a statement like that,
Yeah. Well, how about this?
Pegged is like what?
1977, and my brother John was the 6th, 7th man on the team. In basketball, they won the state championship in AA basketball.
Yep.
And we won. Yeah. I mean, there's a museum, a sports museum in Coquille. I imagine that's the only thing in there. Oh yeah, and then one of my brother's friend Ken Martin was got second place in the New York Marathon.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he had a pretty good running career. But other than that, the missing kid, Big John Lindegren, and then yeah, no, if it were folklore, like Coquille's got folklore.
Well, yeah, that's not the same as what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is this the team?
Yeah. Let's see. I think it could be, but I can't see my brother John in there.
Yeah.
But that's not the year they won it.
This is a 1977 state champ, so look back.
Really?
But
No way.
From the Cotter Chronicle, was that the newspaper?
No,
Oh,
Coquille. No, yeah, because I don't recognize any of them boys.
Right.
But it's just as white as our team was, for sure. I mean, yeah. There wasn't any diversity in my town. It was probably not. I mean, why wouldn't anyone? I would leave as soon as I got a tan. I was out of there. I laid out the last summer and I fucking beat him. Yep, I'm out of here.
Were they Class C?
AA basketball. Yeah, Coquille Red Devils. They had them. I would the cheerleaders liked me. So I would hang out, I like to get attention from them. So I'd walk by them quite a bit, not in a, I didn't get a lot of hugs at home or anything. So, you got to take them where you can get them. And I was a young man and the cheerleaders smelled pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And they, I think that, all right. If one of them would have wanted to, that would have been fine.
Andy, I've got the Coquille women's 1977 Coquille girls.
I don't even remember them.
State champs.
No way.
They're the only ones that show up.
Whoa.
Let me double check here. We get the
1977. Maybe my history's off, but it's the history.
Well, I mean, you said men's. This is clearly women's team.
Well, we were ahead of our time then. Those are actually boys if you look closer.
1977.
No, I mean that doesn't even look like their uniform completely.
Coquille girls.
Huh.
North Valley.
No, we weren't North Valley.
Well, it says I think they played North Valley.
Oh, okay. Coquille beat Marist.
Yeah, Red Devil Squad, 1977.
Motherfucker. Well, why is it such a big deal? The dudes won that year when the chicks won too.
Well, no one took a picture.
That's because I got fired from annual staff.
Boy, the butterfly effect, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have held that guy. I didn't understand, that those hugs from cheerleaders would have increased if I was taking photos of them. I mean, if they were cool with it. You got to get the right angle for those creepy cheerleader ones, but when you're taking pictures of girls in the hurdles and track and field, it's pretty easy to not look like a creepy fuck and get the money shot. And I actually
pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Andy's doing that right now.
Yeah, maybe. Oh God.
Yeah, with that 45 minutes of technical problems, we've already been on here for 3 hours.
Oh, I've distilled that down.
Yeah.
It was a tricky game.
That's not fair.
We got it going.
I do want to say thank you to everyone who came out on the Canadian tour with Stanhope and to the comedy mothership the last couple of days that are fans of the Issues with Andy podcast. It's great seeing everyone, and I love it when me being at the merch booth, which I haven't done lately because we haven't been touring, and Tracy usually does it. I actually had to be out in the lobby pre-show and after show, and it was great. There's a lot of people that listen, and I appreciate every single person telling us so that we can
Yeah,
feel a little good about it.
I got a little love from some people, and not my, I mean, I wasn't seeking it out though. Like sometimes but
Like when you go out, when Doug goes out to shake some hands, and you just casually walk out there with him and stand by him.
Yeah, I mean, but these were, well, one was in the bar where the guy goes, "Are you Andy Andrist?" Yeah, and then he's like, "No, you're not." Are you? No, I'm pretty
Who
sure.
would lie about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was lost in time for a minute, but I'm back. So yeah, I can confirm. And he said I was his second favorite comic in the world, and I know whose number one favorite comic is Doug, probably, but I'm his number two, and that I hear that from people, and it's like I don't do anything, like why, like if you were like on number 3 on that list, and I was like, who's number 3 on that list? Like Bill Burr, like I think people be upset under me on this list. I thought he died of cancer. He died of cancer. He was on the 77 basketball team, and they went to celebrate at the Coos County Fair, and he disappeared with some big-haired chicks.
Is that the long way to say thank you?
Yeah, thank you for that. And Linda, thank you. Yeah, but I mean, it was nice to hear, the people that said, hey, and there wasn't, and then Linda Allen, one of our listeners, was going to come out, and I was going to, I said I'd get her a ticket, but I didn't really know if I could get how even that was going to work or whatever. But she, helped me get out here and helped me stay out here, and appreciate that, Linda. Thank you.
Yeah, Linda's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was nice to see. We got to see a good group of people. The Veter brothers and Fanny Cohen was out here, who I love. There was Christine Levine was here. Hoot Looney was here. It was great. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm glad I came
from Chad
out here for that. Yeah, I tried to, when I got gifted a room, I called you to go, I don't know if you can get out here, but I got a place for us to stay, and you can stay with. So I had to find the nearest, who's the best body type closest to Chad. And there was like, how about Keith Ray? So I had Keith Ray for a camp overnight with me.
Mm-hmm.
Are we closing? Did I fuck up another closing?
No,
I just want to try to figure out how to tell that story, because you had Linda paid for the room and she couldn't come, so she's like, you can have the room, Andy. And I'm like, well, that's actually great, because there's a lot of people in the house, and Carrie's working extra because there's now a daytime show, and she's got to work.
Carrie, Tracy, and Diamonds are all working.
They're gonna, so we don't want to have, there's not going to be much going on in the house, we don't need too many people in here. And Andy's like, oh no, I totally understand, I've got a hotel room. And other than that first night, you haven't even been back to the hotel room in 3 nights.
I don't think your luggage has even gone to the hotel.
It was there. It was there.
Right.
That I stayed there
one night.
So on Monday night, he stayed in the hotel Monday night with Keith Ray, and then on Tuesday morning before the show, I'm like, I'll just come by, I gotta get my car, I'll come by and I'll scoop you up. And he comes out of the hotel that he's staying in for 5 nights with his luggage, and I'm like, why do you have your, he's like, oh, I'm switching rooms, so I'm just gonna bring my luggage. But
yeah,
you haven't been back, so
I had to check in. I mean, I'm gonna check in, but there was like
rooms at your place.
Yeah,
he did switch rooms, actually.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
Did you get tipped for
Mitchell was like, yeah, I already know how this is going to play out. I'm like, I probably do too, but it was fine. It didn't make any difference. But yeah, it was funny. You still got the room. The room's still available.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have I set up some business meetings. I'm talking to big carnival tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's getting to be, it's getting to be that season. It's probably maybe, this year I could do it again and go,
juice up my resume a bit.
I absolutely think you should go. And if you don't go to turn in an ask for an application and then turn one in, you should at least go to the fair and videotape a little bit of it.
Yeah, I'm due, I guess, and I saw at least one music act that was like, oh, that's cool.
I mean, you're not touring, Andy, so this is another way to reconnect with a slice of Americana.
Yeah,
absolutely correct.
Yeah, corn dogs and
Blue jeans,
elephant ears,
country greens, baby.
yeah, Wrangler butts on douchebags.
Country dreams.
Okay.
All right, let's put a bow on this thing. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys are watching anything you want to recommend. Andy, we talked about this last week. We were talking about the Menendez brothers and this new angle on the molestation that those kids suffered being a real thing that a lot of people thought they were bullshitting about. But I started watching I think it's on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a 3 or 4 part documentary series about it. And the father's connection to the guy who was the manager of Menudo, and the manager of Menudo was fucking all these boys and fucking crazy, sociopath pedophile, and it's fucking wild, man.
Yeah. So that's a
fucked up story.
Is it Blood Brothers? Menendez Blood Brothers?
Yeah,
no, that's 2017.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a TV.
I don't remember what it's called, but it's
Suburban Nightmare, the Menendez brothers.
I don't know what it's called.
Jesus Christ, there's a lot of shit out there.
I'm not.
How are we only just getting this? It's on Tubi, so I don't. Yeah, no one watched it.
I'm pretty sure it was on Peacock, but I don't remember. But I've enjoyed it. But then that's when everybody showed up, so we haven't really done much TV watching.
I got it. Menendez brothers, monsters or victims?
Could be.
Yeah. That's it. That's like I've seen 3 of them.
Yeah, so that is on Peacock TV. So
yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, I like that line that somebody said about that guy is the reason he's successful is he has the same taste in men as a 16-year-old girl or 15-year-old girl.
Yeah. Yeah, he could pick them out.
Yeah, he knew what was going to sell.
Absolutely. Chad, what are you listening to or reading or occupying yourself with?
I am at the moment listening to The Exorcist.
Ooh.
Much scarier listening to the book than watching the movie.
Yeah.
The movie scared the shit out of me when I was obviously no longer.
I don't think I saw that. That was one of those that I could have gotten a demon from watching. That movie was so scared. People were scared.
Yeah, you got a lot of scary shit going on already. I don't think you needed to entertain that.
Yeah, I might have
on the razor's edge.
I might have a demon or two. I just never really, had a reason to get rid of them. Like, you got to go to church to get rid of it. I'll just make peace with it. So hang out. Some of the shit you do is pretty bad, but I guess some of the shit I do is pretty bad too.
We're all working on ourselves.
Yeah. Let's try to make some music together. Well, come on, demon.
You play the fiddle? All right. Well, that's it then. Cool.
That's it.
Let's get out of here. We want to thank you guys for being out there and being part of this. Join our Patreon if you haven't. It's only $5 a month, and lots of cool stuff on there. And we would love to have you over there. If not, we love having you on YouTube too. Like and subscribe. Tell a friend, and come back. We'll do it all again next week. Peace.